In this video, I'm going to be talking about chemical reactions. Here we have the 5 types of chemical reactions with simple variables to represent elements and compounds. The first reaction we will be talking about is decomposition. Decomposition is the separation of a single chemical compound into its 2 parts or more elemental parts, or the simpler compounds. Here we have an example of decomposition, where NaCl breaks down to form the elements Na and Cl. A metaphor for decomposition could be divorce, with sodium being the guy or the husband and chlorine being the wife. You can see them separate or go through a divorce. Another example of decomposition is when it gets into a simpler version of the compound. You can see this with the H2O2 turning into H2O and O2. The next reaction we'll be talking about is synthesis. This is when 2 or more simple substances combine to form a more complex product. The reactants may be elements or compounds, while the product is always a compound. In this example, we have 2 elements, those being zinc and iodine. They can combine to form zinc iodine. A metaphor for synthesis can be, I think you guys may know, or whoever's watching this. It's the gift of life. A little worm, an egg, and we have a fetus. This is the example of 2 simple things combined to form a much more complex being. The next reaction I'll be talking about is single replacement. This is when one element replaces another element in a compound. The example here is magnesium plus copper sulfate, but then the magnesium kicks out the copper, leaving copper magnesium sulfate. The real world example of this would be when a younger sibling is born into your family, and your parents' attention goes to them. I love younger siblings. The magnesium would be the younger sibling, enter the copper, which is the older sibling, and the sulfate, which is the parent. Then the attention goes to the magnesium. The next reaction is double replacement. This involves the exchange of bonds between non-reacting chemical species, which results in the creation of products with similar identical bonding affiliations. That's too complex for you. It's when there are 2 compounds and they switch elements. An example I have is sodium sulfide plus hydrogen chloride. The sodium switches with the hydrogen, creating sodium chloride and hydrogen sulfide. The cation, being the sodium, and always goes with the other the anion in the other equation or compound, which would be the chloride. The hydrogen will go with the other anion because you can't have 2 cations or 2 anions in one compound. This can be demonstrated with the movie The Parent Trap, which is a movie where Lindsay Lohan plays twins who switch parents. The twins can signify the anions, and the parents can signify the cations here, because you can't have a sibling raising a sibling, and you can't have a parent raising a parent. So a sibling will always go with the other parent. The parent won't go with the parent, and sibling won't go with sibling. The parent in this allegory would be the cation, and the sibling would be the anion. The final reaction is combustion. This usually occurs when a hydrocarbon reacts with oxygen to produce carbon dioxide and water. In the example, you have CH4 and 2 oxygens is turned to carbon and carbon dioxide and water. The products will always be carbon dioxide and water. The reactants will always have carbon and hydrogen, but they can include 2 oxygens. As you can see in that example, CXHYOZ, but the OZ is in the parentheses. But the second oxide is always there. When you think of combustion, think of burning, because that's what happens. Goodbye. I hope this informs you.